When I was in high school, me and my family, we all used to go to the same church, and my mother met this woman at her church that just wanted to be besties with my mom, and that lunatic ended up trying to destroy my mother's business and got restraining orders on my entire household, including my 70-something-year-old grandmother at the time, and literally tried to get me kicked out of my school, right? This lady was making calls trying to get me kicked out of my school because the school I was going to was not in the same district as the school I should have been going to, but because I moved. So she called to try to get me kicked out of the school, and then she keyed my car. That is the dangers of not vetting people properly and not understanding that not everyone gets to experience you. I don't care how badly someone wants to be your friend. I don't care how badly someone wants to date you. You have to start vetting people and not allowing them into your circle until you realize how they are. Because I've noticed that people who are not on the same level as you become extremely destructive. And that was a very hostile experience for me. And it was very hard on my parents because literally I had to go through all of that because I guess my parents or my mother was horrible at vetting other women and let this lunatic into her life, and this person wanted to just destroy her entire family unit. And that's the dangers when you don't have a wall up and you don't classify and vet people prior to letting them into your life. That is the kind of stuff that happens, which is why I will always push for you guys to vet. I'll always push for you guys to be exclusive. I'll always push for you guys to understand that your presence is a blessing and not everybody gets to experience you. I will always push for that because things can get hostile if you don't classify people before allowing them into your life, or not allowing them into your life at all if they don't pass the vetting process. Before I go deep into the story, if you guys have not signed up for the Spiritual Warfare Masterclass, I definitely recommend you guys fill your name out in the link below to join the Spiritual Warfare Masterclass. Recording available. Okay, I will be sending emails and text to let you guys know. So anyways, definitely visit yourlevelupguru.net to book your girl chats. But let's get into this because we have a lot to talk about today. So let's get into this. Not everyone gets to experience you. Okay? This concept is extremely important for those of you who are practicing self-preservation and who overall you just want a better life experience. As we get older, it's not about having many friends. It's about having one or two good friends. It's not about having many men or dating 50 men. It's about dating and finding that one quality man or that one quality woman. And understanding that not everybody gets to experience you is a beautiful thing because you realize that your presence is valuable, you are valuable, and as a result of that, you're not going to be everywhere with everyone. You know what I mean? And the other day, I had a situation happen to me where I'm like, okay, girl, you did it wrong. Like, you messed up. Have you guys ever had those days where you know better and you didn't do better? A situation where you knew better and you didn't do better. I had a situation where I'm like, oh my God, I messed up. This was bad. Like, I completely stepped out of the mindset of not everyone gets to experience you in that exclusivity. I stepped out of it for a small period of time. And something happened and I'm like, oh my God, okay, you messed up. It's okay because at least you recognize you messed up. You're not in denial. But especially as a African-American woman, it's when I always tell African-American women, all women, I tell all women and men this, but let me talk about to the Black women for just a second, okay? Just a second. I love you all, no matter what race, background, belief system. I love all of you guys. I want to make that clear. But I just want to talk to Black women for just 30 seconds. If you are an African American woman, especially if you do not fit the stereotype of what or who an African American should be, what an African American woman should sound like, I'm going to need you to take this concept that I'm about to teach you to the extreme, because people are going to try to bully you out of being exclusive. People are going to try to bully you into not preserving yourself. And people are going to have a major problem with you being introverted and selective. Okay? Now, back to the original concept. Not everyone gets to experience you. You have to start viewing yourself and you have to start viewing your presence as a blessing. You have to start viewing just who you are as one of a kind. And when you start developing that self-concept, you won't feel the need to be connected to everybody. You won't feel the need to be around everyone. And some people may get offended by that. I'm going to share a quick story with you guys about what happened to me at a church. And this situation really opened my eyes as to some of the things that beautiful women or beautiful Black women face. So I went to this church, this was a year ago, and the first lady of this church had her nose up. Okay, her nose was up, like untouchable, sit at the front, you can't look at me, you can't walk past me, you can't walk around me. A non-African American woman, just like, I guess, just preserving herself in whatever way that translates to, staying out of the way. Like, she never really stayed after service where someone can have communication with her, just practicing exclusivity, right? Now, here I come into the church and I have the same concept. I'm not arrogant about it in the way this first lady was. If you are a first lady of a church, you can't have your nose up. You're supposed to be the most humble person in the room, okay? Don't take on a role that you're not going to get in alignment with what that role is. I would never be a first lady. That's just not a role I would ever want to play. I don't like it for me. But I'm saying that there are certain women who are in roles that they don't want to get in alignment with. For example, if you want to be not the queen, what do you call that? For the royal family, if you don't want to take the lessons, the etiquette lessons, learn how to walk, learn how to talk, learn how to wave, learn how to dress, filter your social media. You can't be in the royal family posting thirst traps. If you don't want to get in alignment with it, then don't get in the role, right? So me being in this church, I practice exclusivity and I preserve my energy. And I know that not everyone gets to experience me. And that's when I learned the differences of how hostile society is towards Black women, is because the way she was perceived was in a positive light and the way I was perceived was in a negative light. Meaning, who does she think she is? Why isn't she getting up to greet everyone? Why isn't she looking for everyone's validation? Why isn't she talking to everyone? Why isn't she following any of the church people on Instagram? Like, the way that it was placed on me, even though I was practicing the same concept, it was received as negative. And they do this to Black women all the time, especially if you're beautiful. People want to have the proximity to get near you so they can bully you and be hostile and abusive, right? And the fact that you're a beautiful Black woman and you're preserving yourself on top of it, it's kind of like you've put a barrier around yourself, because let's be honest, every time people see a beautiful Black woman, they want to abuse them. All races, even their race, they want to be abusive and abrasive towards them. So when you put that wall up and you're like, okay, I'm preserving my energy and I'm not going to allow anyone to infiltrate my space, as a Black woman, you are going to be received in a negative light. And that just shows you what Black women have to go to, and why I say Black women should only be resting, and you don't owe anyone anything. Always put that in your mind. So when you realize that not everyone gets to experience you, just like what I said, not everyone gets to experience you, your life is just a little bit easier because you don't have these connections that are these unnecessary connections. And you learn how to vet people better when you're exclusive and you reserve and you understand not everybody gets to experience you. I started practicing this in 2022. And as I get older, it's being more set to maximum where I'm like, not everybody gets to experience me because I value myself. And I know I'm a quality person. And a lot of times in life, we can be a quality person and we end up in a room with people who are just not at your standard, and you get hostile. You receive hostility as a result. Okay, it's just like I was watching, I don't remember what season it was because I don't really watch that show anymore, but it's just like when I was watching snippets from the show Bad Girls Club, and there was this one girl on the show who was an African-American girl, very, very beautiful, very well put together, very classy, not a fighter. I don't even know how she ended up on that show because I would put her on like The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I don't know what she was doing on Bad Girls Club. And the way that they would jump this girl and throw her mattress in the pool, they would throw her bags that's full of designer items in the pool and get chlorine on it. And I'm like, that is what happens when you don't reserve your energy, you're not exclusive, and you don't realize that not everybody gets to experience you. You end up in rooms where you become a target. Like what they did to her. Like they knew that she was on a different level than them. I'm not saying on a higher level. She was just on a different level, on a different playing field that they were not. And that's what happens every time. I used to always tell my mother this. I used to tell my mother all the time. Because I grew up watching my mom have no standards in her relationships. And I would tell her, you know, I don't really think that person's fit to be your friend. Like, you guys are just not on the same level. And it's always going to be hostile when, and that's the thing. My mother, who is very, very different from me, is more of like an open, social butterfly, warm, you know, and I told her, you can't really be like that. You have to stamp this level of exclusivity on yourself so that you don't keep having these hostile friendships. These friendships are getting hostile. They're getting jealous because you're connecting yourself with someone that you have no similarities with. Like, you have no dealings with that person, and you're connecting yourself with that person. And when it comes to realizing that not everybody gets to experience you and practicing exclusivity, you have to vet people prior to letting them in your circle. It's like you're walking around and you're a circle. Imagine yourself, you're a circle, and everybody that you're meeting is outside the circle. If they want to get into the circle, if they want to pierce the circle and get into the circle, they need to be qualified to be in your circle. Everyone stays outside of your circle until they fit your standard of what it's necessary to be in your circle. Okay? And I think that is so crucial for people to understand. And like I said, of course, I'm going to keep saying this, especially for Black women. Black women have to really genuinely move in silence, and don't allow people to bully you out of your introvertedness. Don't allow women to bully you, or men to bully you out of you being selective, because in reality, they just want to get close to you so they have the opportunity to be abrasive and humble you. That's the whole reason why they want you to put your guard down. Every beautiful woman of another race can have their guard up, but the minute a Black woman does it, she thinks she's better than everyone. Because they want to freely have the opportunity to be abrasive towards you. And again, this will even come from your own community that will try and do that. So practicing that exclusivity and preserving your energy and understanding that not everybody gets to experience you, both men and women. It's the same thing with men. I mean, some men, these men that you're trying to go out to the gym with and hang out and lift weights with, they're not you, homie. They're not you. And you're, you know, I have this conversation with men all the time. And I keep telling men, like, a lot of the concepts that I speak about applies to men as well. Like, there are some men who are that guy. I think I heard Kevin Samuels talk about this on his YouTube page. I forgot what video it was, but I remember him referencing that men who are at certain statuses or at certain levels, you have to kind of be vetted before you can even sit on a table with those men, because they know how hard they work to get to where they are, and they are the definition of that dude. And if you're not, then why are you sitting on a table with them? Like, men understand the concepts of keeping other men around them who are on their level. And I think that that's more of a concept that women struggle with, because women are very, very friendly.